Oh man, this Siren Blaster saga has been quite interesting. Talking about a company whose parent company started as basically just a scientific toys company and continued to expand its popularity based on those toys. I think the closest thing they got to like a tag-like game was several laser tag games they offered in the past. But anyhow, Siren is here and it's here to stay. These guys came out of the woodwork with not just a foam flinging dart blaster company, but probably the most powerful big box store grade blasters you'll be able to pick up. We've already covered the Gnarl, which is their pistol variant, rear prime center magwell, 5-rounder. And on the last video, we covered their pump action middleman with 3 adjustable power levels in the form of the Mauler. Today, it's all about their motorized blaster. This thing has an interesting story behind it. It was supposed to be released along with all the other ones that were showcased back in June, I think it was. This is actually a story that showcases not only this company's attention to what the community is saying, but also attention to quality in general. So without further ado, let's dive into the Siren Blink. All right guys, so as I said in the previous videos, Siren did send me these blasters as review samples. However, the opinions in this video as well as the other two are of my own. These are my personal experiences with these blasters, and at the end I will let you know whether personally I think they're a good value. We're gonna do an unboxing, functional test, and then I'm gonna give my lasting impressions. Let's get into it. Time for what I'm personally most excited about, their electric blaster, the Blink model. By the way, shout out to Siren for making these packages so easy to open. There's no strings you gotta cut, there's no zip ties, there's no twist ties. You literally just remove these little clamp clips that sit on the edges, and then you could just open the packages just like that, guys. Wow, this is pretty. Let's take a look. Yeah, buddy. I like the form factor. I like the size of it. The grip feels okay for being a thumb hole stock. Gives my hands plenty of room. That's kind of nice. Again, we're repeating the same characteristics that we loved about the other blasters. Paint on both sides, logos on both sides. Logos are also painted on. Combination of aesthetic sections that have paint and then sections that don't. In this case, the logos front and rear, the Siren logo and the Blink logo is paint. From what I could see, this blaster has a crazy mean crush. Somebody's definitely working with these people. This blaster bumped up the capacity to 20 from the 10 that were in the Mauler, and it fits effortlessly into the magwell. You push this button right here to release the mag. And that was pretty natural, pretty effortless. My finger just went right onto there. Has a very soft, accessible spring on it. The mag came right off. Siren logo on the mag, just like with the other models. You do get your darts, you get your eye protection, just like with the Mauler and the Gnarl. What seems to be an 11.1 volt, 1000 milliamp battery. So these guys are not playing around. You get a 3S right out of the box. This is kind of crazy. Full-blown instructions, you get a USB-C to USB-A charger port. Small message, do not open while in use. Identifies where the jam door is. It's on this side of the blaster. You just flip it up with your finger. Very easy to just clear any jams that you might have. Battery compartment is accessible by loosening this Phillips screw in the back. This cover entirely just comes right off, and then you see the battery ports. Now the interesting thing is this blaster has double PWM. It has access to allow you to change the fire rate and the speed of the dart. You have 2 connectors here, one for the XT60 and one for the balance connector on the battery. Normally this job is performed by a balance charger, which you can also use to charge this battery, but it's nice to know that you can permanently install this battery into this blaster using this 4-pin JST connector and this XT60 that comes already with the battery. Close it up and then forever just charge your blaster using USB-C. They're pretty much giving you full power flexibility. You can use any power system under the recommended voltage on this blaster, or use their existing battery or one that has similar connectors that also fits, and then just balance charge your blaster using the USB-C connector. I mean, more of a complete and inclusive package I have personally never seen from another distributor. They either give you the flexibility without the batteries, or they give you cross flexibility with alkaline and lithium, but this is the first time I actually see something like this, where they give you the battery, which you could charge it separately, an easy removal cover, and you could also charge it outside of the blaster in case you're not able to get to a balanced charger or you're just on the field. I really appreciate that. That's kind of awesome. The power knob also serves as a power switch when turned all the way counterclockwise, so that's kind of cool. You can actually shut your blaster off. That's a built-in feature that, again, I don't really see on a lot of blasters. I highlighted it on a few newer blasters we've reviewed here, but it's nice to see that it's already built into this knob. You don't got to look for any other kind of switch. It's all there. Rev trigger is pretty accessible and trigger is pretty comfortable as well. So far, I'm liking the ergonomics of this blaster. Just like I said, with the other blasters, I can't wait till we get to the performance part of this video. Wrapping up our feature overview of this blaster, you have a rear sight similar to the Mauler. It clips on to the top of the blaster right here. And you have a front sight that slides on very conveniently just like that. So I like the consistency of the standardization that you get across all three blasters. All three get a nice front sight, and at least the two carbines, this one and the Mauler, do get a nice little hollow type rear sight. It's nice to see that uniformity as well. This blaster does tell you when it's running low on battery and therefore recommending you to put it to charge. It'll let you know when it's nearly out of gas so you can actually plug it in and anticipate how long you have left of your game to get to either your next battery or to plug it in and grab your next blaster. It also has an internal protection circuit which will not allow it to burn itself out in the event that it would jam up due to a stuck dart or some similar issue. Very feature rich, out of the box, very serviceable. I would imagine even somebody who employs a very competitive, active style gameplay would be able to run this and take great advantage of these built-in features that would just give you that extra quality of life for your gameplay. This blaster, as well as the other two, is also compatible with your worker Talon mags. In and out, very easy, just like the other ones. And just like that, we've arrived at the part of our video, guys, where I'm gonna show you what these babies can do. One thing that's interesting about this video in comparison to the other ones is that halfway through me filming the review for this blaster, Siren actually sent me an email saying, oh, by the way, the darts that came with the Blink are not the darts that the Blink is shipping with now. We're gonna overnight you the correct darts. And sure enough, a couple days later, I got these darts. Now, these darts are made of conventional squishy foam that we're used to seeing in the form of other darts. In fact, it looks almost like a one-to-one replica of a worker dart. I've been now shooting competitive blasters for a bit, and all I use are the worker Gen 3s, and these look like they were just printed in a different color. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. As a matter of fact, it's the right thing to do. I just hope that Siren went through the proper channels and developed their own materials so they're not violating any licensing rules or patents, which I'm sure they did. You guys are gonna have a special treat for this video. You're gonna be able to see how the original darts shot, and you'll be able to figure out on your own why Siren made the decision to eventually not bring those same darts along with the Blink and instead develop an exclusive dart that would work with this particular blaster. Now, I'm not sure if there was added community input on these. I remember in the original reviews when these first started coming out, the Blink was the only blaster that was not in those reviews. I always was like, man, but where's the motorized one? Where's the Blink? I know there's 3 of these. And sure enough, whether it was an internal discovery or one of their early testers gave them the feedback that this blaster is destroying the EPP dart. So they needed some kind of alternative solution just for the Blink. I didn't have trouble with the other ones destroying darts. On the Mauler highest setting, it was splitting a couple of darts, but that was under intensive use. The EPP is pretty resistant for the most part, but with the Blink in the following frames, you're about to see why they went this route. Now, as far as the operation of the Blink goes, you have 2 knobs, as mentioned earlier. You have the power knob right here, which controls the PWM for flywheel speed. And then you have the speed knob right here, which controls the PWM to the pusher motor, increasing the rate of fire accordingly. We're gonna turn the power knob clockwise just enough to hear a click, and then this LED comes on, showing that your blaster is on. We're gonna go all the way power. There's a nice little circuit that controls acceleration of the flywheel, so just bear that in mind. There might be a slight delay from the moment you press the trigger to the moment that the flywheels actually start spinning. We're gonna back it down just a little bit off the top since we're only 40 feet away. Probably give it about 9 or 10 volts. I got the pusher speed all the way down because I wanna see how the trigger response is, if it lets you manually push a shot or do you have to wait for the pusher to cycle. We're gonna determine all those things right now. Let's go. Now, for comparison purposes, the first round we're actually going to do with the pusher PWM all the way down for the slowest rate of fire. Now we're going to turn up the pusher PWM all the way up just for a starker contrast at the fire rate between the lowest setting and the highest setting. And then right after this, a chronograph test. Let's go. It's pretty much a motorized version of the Mauler. You have an incredible amount of crush here up front, and that was exemplified by the performance tests, especially with the soft darts. I like the fact that you not only can control the rate of fire, but also the overall power. I think there's only one other blaster out there that can do that, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very satisfying. Obviously, with the original darts, we had some issues. We had darts being broken and fired in all kinds of directions, and both of those conditions were remedied with the new Worker Twin darts. They clearly took care of that problem. This one's the highest price out of all three, and rightfully so. I mean, there's quite a bit of technology in this package. You have a built-in PWM, you have USB-C charging, you have an included 3S battery, and a feature that a lot of people might not cover because they might not notice it right away, but since both of the batteries connectors do plug into this blaster, when you plug in the USB-C charger, you're actually balance charging the cells, something that's actually quite overlooked in the RC industry, but it's very important to notice that you're not just straight charging the entire pack as a whole. When you plug this into a USB, you're actually balance charging all three cells in here equally, and there's a circuit in there to control all those factors. So you are paying for a little bit more of the tech package, but yeah, I think last time I checked this was $89.99. I know that coming into the holidays now, Black Friday is around the corner, prices are only going to get better and better, and perhaps some very aggressive sales are going to happen around Black Friday, so look out for a sale for this thing. It's pretty bonkers to have this much firepower in something that you could just order online from Target or going to Siren Direct. So if you guys already have one of these, or you have one of the other Siren Blasters, let me know how you're enjoying them. I'd like to hear all your testimonies below. I'm pretty sure the company will be reading your comments as well, and the more vocal that a community is about a product, the more it helps a manufacturer be better at what they do. We've seen it with Dart Zone, we've seen it with lots of other companies. Siren clearly has demonstrated that they're willing to improve the quality of their products and not just release something that is going to make people initially dissatisfied, with the example of this particular blaster where they fixed the dart. Got some cool videos in the pipeline. We're finally catching up to our backlog. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.